I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. My partner Kristen Oaks-White has the week off. One of the biggest stories to come out of the COVID-19 pandemic is food security and your interest in it. While the United States is one of the most food secure countries in the world, there are still people who struggle to get the staples they need. The Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank regularly feeds those people. As Twila's Neil Melanson tells us, this single food bank has seen demand more than double.
It looks like a military operation, and it kind of is, but the battleground is against hunger. Here at the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, the National Guard is helping to pack and distribute food during this coronavirus pandemic. Their help is invaluable, according to CEO Mike Manning.
Because of the shelter in place and everybody's concern about their well-being, our volunteers have dropped off significantly. So the Guard has been a tremendous force multiplier for us to help us in packing boxes and doing distributions that we wouldn't have been able to accomplish otherwise.
Volunteers are still working at this facility, packaging goods they're getting from around the state and country. Manning says what they need right now most, though, is financial help.
The biggest thing for us is money. If we can get money, we can potentially get access to food as the market begins to open up, and we can have more impact. And that way we're not increasing the strain on the grocery stores by having people buy food to donate to us.
As you can see, these empty shelves at the warehouse in Baton Rouge highlight how strong the demand is. Manning says in normal times they feed 80 to 100,000 people in the area.
When you look at the type of unemployment we're seeing, you see 1,200 people unemployed from 2 of the casinos. You see all the retail stores are closed. Everybody's struggling with this. And what the final numbers are going to be are yet to be determined, but we do know that the need is up dramatically in our service area.
What concerns him the most is that this pandemic could pass, but due to economic conditions, the need for food assistance will remain as the economy suffers.
It's a question of when things turn and how quickly we open things back up. And you tell me, and we'll both know what the answer is there. I don't know. I don't prognosticate. The good thing is we know there is governmental assistance coming, financial assistance coming for people down the road. It's just that we're in this window now where that's not available yet, and they're limited in what they can do. The number of SNAP applications has overwhelmed DCFS. The number of unemployment applications are overwhelming the Workforce Commission. So just the sheer volumes that we're seeing are really impacting things.
The Louisiana Farm Bureau recently announced a big donation as well as programs helping to connect farmers and food banks. The Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank is just one in a system across the state. They all share the same ideals and needs, feeding the most vulnerable in the state. For This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Neil Melanson.
Last week, the Louisiana Farm Bureau insurance companies donated $500,000 to Feeding Louisiana. That's the organization that works with all 5 major food banks in Louisiana and reaches people in all 64 parishes. As you heard, the best way you can help out is with a financial donation. To find out how to give to your local food bank, go to our website at twilatv.org. Farmers who had winter crops in the ground found themselves in quite a quandary during the COVID-19 crisis. As Twila's Tammy Arnder shows us, M&W Produce in Richland Parish took to social media to sell cabbage rather than have it rot in the field.
The good Lord blessed us here. People came out. It was totally different. They were getting it as fast as I could get it cut.
The customers came from all over Cajun country to get the cabbage out of Elmer Wells Field in Richland Parish. When the coronavirus pandemic practically shut down his restaurant supply chain, he thought he might have to plow up his 15 acres of the leafy greens.
Well, it's changed our pace of selling things. Don't know where we're going the next day when we wake up. I got neighbors and dairy farmers say they're dumping milk. Neighbors up the road supposedly killing chickens. That's a bad thing.
Mom put it on Facebook. Dollar Head just wanted to get some of our money back because, we had money sunk into it. And my brother called me up. He said, it's unbelievable. We've got to have somebody directing traffic out here.
So even though selling straight from the field was a huge success, selling over 20,000 heads of cabbage, there's a lot left already starting to rot, meaning that Wells will have to get in here with a disc and disc the rest of it up. Wells and his brother, Chuck McPherson, are now keeping an eye on the rest of their winter crops. The broccoli and kohlrabi may have the same fate as the cabbage.
They don't hold forever in the field, and with the struggle to get rid of everything like we need to, our 2-week window, and I got my summer crops coming that I got to stay on schedule for that.
You know, we're trying to get prepared to sell stuff. I mean, we got to. We can't wait on COVID.
McPherson and Wells have diversified their operation to meet a year-round demand. They have a dozen or more varieties of produce, including some raised beds with a potpourri of peppers and other specialty items.
There's going to be a large demand this summer for local grown produce because you hear everybody disking their stuff up while they're still importing stuff from Mexico. Makes no sense to me.
Although some of their winter crops will be turned under, they do believe they'll survive this crisis.
We'll recover. We're hard working. We were prepared for something like this in the get-go. So little things like this, it's going to slow us down a bit, but we're going to come back strong.
In Delhi, I'm Tammy Arender for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Wells was not able to get rid of all of that cabbage. He disked it under on Wednesday. Many farmers are also forced to leave the produce that they grow in the field because they can't find the labor there to pick the fresh fruits and vegetables. At one farm in Livingston Parish, the strawberries barely have enough time to ripen before someone goes up and picks it. And that's because it's an agritourism hotspot where folks can pick with personal space.
You ready to go pick strawberries?
Yeah.
Logan Davidson is hunting for these red, ripe strawberries.
Here's one.
Sometimes he seems surprised to find one.
A strawberry.
Sometimes he finds one he wishes he hadn't.
Mushy?
But at Mrs. Heather's strawberry farm in Livingston Parish, Logan is not alone in this thought.
Whoa, they're perfect.
Perfect because he's not alone. He and the other pickers are following the social distancing guidelines the CDC recommends to prevent spreading novel coronavirus.
You know, we have 10 acres of berries, so everybody's able to get in different fields and go around and have plenty of distance and enjoy themselves and get out in the sunshine.
Heather Hughes is the owner of Mrs. Heather's Strawberry Farm. With the COVID-19 pandemic, she made some changes.
Everybody's basically just coming in, picking, and then having to leave.
Another change, these poles to let people in line know they're 6 feet away from other guests. Also, cleanliness is top of mind.
Keeping everything sanitized, spraying down, and wiping the hand carry. So it's been a steady thing to do all day long.
Hughes Farm provides more than an outing for families like these. With so many parents homeschooling because schools are closed, it's also an educational opportunity.
And they calling it their kids' field trips. You know, they do their studies in the morning, and then some of them will come in the afternoons, and they'll call it their little field trip, and they'll do a little plant study or whatever when they're here.
If I say we're done, we are done. Okay?
Okay, Logan, but there are so many strawberries ripe for the picking.
I think I got enough.
While the playground is closed, like Hughes said, there's 10 acres of strawberries there, plenty of room for you to spread out and pick all you want. If you would like to learn more about Mrs. Heather's Strawberry Farm, go over to our website at twilatv.org. Now, grocery store clerks and healthcare professionals are not the only ones taking extra care to keep themselves and those around them safe. Farmers are also implementing new measures to protect themselves, their employees, and everyone else involved in agriculture during the COVID-19 pandemic. Twila's Carl Wiggers joins us now from Baton Rouge to tell us more about it. Carl?
Here in Baton Rouge, during the coronavirus outbreak, it's pretty common to see people out shopping for groceries wearing gloves or a mask like this. And that's also true here at Irestein Farms Butcher Shop. And they're taking extra steps to make sure that people can still come and get good local food from farms here in this Baton Rouge area. And they're taking extra steps to make sure that customers are safe while they shop for groceries.
One thing that we're doing is limiting the amount of foot traffic in the store, so we're never allowing more than 5 to 6 customers at a time. We're providing gloves for all of our customers when they come in the door. We're asking them to keep some distance from the case and our employees. Our employees are staying gloved up the whole time, wearing masks when they're handling orders. And then we're wiping down any metal surfaces with a quat sanitizer, every 15, 20 minutes. And then we're encouraging our employees, if you think about washing your hands, do it. If you think about washing your hands again, do it again. So it's just staying on top of that kind of stuff, just general hygiene, and then being careful with, contaminating anything.
However, Baton Rouge is not the only place that people are taking this seriously. It's happening on farms and ranches and forests all across the state.
My name is Ryan Winters. I'm the managing partner of Midstream Timber Solutions based in Mansfield, Louisiana. We've had to modify some of our daily safety protocols, do some things that aren't typical for our business for our daily operations, just in overabundance of caution. We have reduced the size of our safety meetings. We don't require so many people to be at each safety meeting, so we've created more meetings more frequently with smaller crowds. During those safety meetings, we also make sure that we provide plenty of hand sanitizer, that everyone's washing their hands. We reiterate those points routinely, and we make sure to disinfect before and after safety meetings the areas those employees are in. We have provided disinfectant and cleaning supplies to each of our operators and drivers, thereby ensuring that they've got what they need to sanitize and keep their work areas, their workstations clean and decontaminated.
Well, I'm Cody Beavers, and I farm corn, cotton, and soybeans in Franklin Parish, and we currently have 4 full-time employees working on our operation. We've had to make a few little tweaks to our operation, one being that we require everybody wash their hands when we show up first thing in the morning, and then when we leave, and also using hand sanitizer through the day. We have tried to keep everybody in one certain tractor, and if we swap tractors, we'll Clorox wipe the tractor down before we swap operators. We practice social distancing as much as possible. Sometimes that could be easier said than done, but we're doing our absolute best to minimize the contact that we have with one another, and so far we've been doing a very good job at that.
Keeping our food supply and people producing the food healthy, that's really important, because if we interrupt that chain, then we're gonna have bigger problems. Right now we're fine, everybody's at home being able to cook good home meals, but we gotta make sure we're able to get that out safely. Stay home, we'll come to you. Don't go grocery store shopping just to kill time. It's not a hobby, it's supposed to be essential.
Well, it certainly eases my mind that these farmers, ranchers, and everyone involved in agriculture is working hard and staying healthy and safe so that they can provide us with an affordable, abundant harvest this season. Now, if you're a farmer and you need more ideas on how to keep yourself safe, your family safe, your workers safe, head over to our website at twilatv.org. Still to come on Twila, we'll have the latest crawfish prices for you from around the state, which means you'd better buy some. But first, we head to the kitchen with Jennifer Finley to cook up some fresh Louisiana seafood in the latest edition of Field to Feast. Stay with us.
I now hope they're fighting today.
I hope they are. Put a Dorito on here.
Find your place in the country and the lender who can get you there. Find Louisiana Land Bank. Financing for country homes, recreational property, farms and ranches, and agribusiness.
It's a well-known fact that here in Louisiana, sugarcane is more than just a crop. It's a way of life. It creates more than 16,000 jobs across the state and an additional $3 billion boost to our state's economy. And Louisiana's cane families always give back to the communities where we live, work, and play. Louisiana sugarcane, making life sweeter, naturally.
Sugarcane, sweet sugarcane.
I'm a farmer.
I am a farm wife.
I am a cowboy.
I am a grass farmer.
I'm a businesswoman.
I'm a conservationist.
I am an advocate.
I am a voice for Louisiana farmers.
I'm always learning.
I'm a husband.
I'm a mom.
I am a dad.
I'm a granddad.
I am a consumer.
I grow the food that feeds your family, and I'm proud of it. I am Farm Bureau.
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 We are Farm Bureau.
Welcome to Field to Feast, where we profile Louisiana and its local ingredients. My friend Darlene and I went out to Houma, Louisiana and met Lance Nacio's boat as it was coming down the bayou. He was bringing in grouper, snapper, and a whole bunch of other catch. So today we're going to talk to him as a local fisherman, and then we're going to take some of his catch back into the kitchen with Chef Celeste, where we're going to make a delicious dish of fish and grits.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
So we're right here on Bayou Terrebonne. The reason I chose to move here is because of the bayou. I wanted a place where I could park the boat at my house. That was the reasoning for moving down here, and I have no regret. I grew up in a trapping camp, and my father, grandfather, they all lived off of the land. It was remote, so it was only accessible by boat. And when I was a kid, I remember going to school in a boat, you know, to the boat launch, and the bus would pick me up. Throw it here. When I started shrimping, it was a good business to be in because we got paid a fair price for our shrimp, and the price of operation was really cheap. It was 60 cents a gallon for fuel when I started shrimping, you know, so, and we were getting $3 to $4 a pound for our large head-on shrimp. Because of globalization and imports, what most people don't understand is that, you know, shrimp is one of the highest consumed seafood by Americans, and we import way more than what we eat. In 2018, we imported 1.4 billion pounds of shrimp, but we only consume 1.2 billion pounds. So it's been a constant pressure on the domestic market, and prices that reflect what goes on with imports. It's important for people to support our local communities and local commercial fishermen because it's part of our heritage. It's part of what you associate South Louisiana with, is good quality seafood. In this globalization that we're dealing with, it's not easy for a consumer to get the quality seafood that we're bringing to the table.
After the haul, we take them out the ice, we weigh them up, and then we take them and pack them in the hole.
2 years ago, we took one of our shrimp boats and we turned it into a reef fish boat. So today I have my fish boat that's been out for a couple of weeks. He's coming in this morning, and we have about 3,000 pounds of fish that we're going to offload, mostly grouper. Grouper is the fish that we started targeting the last year because in the reef fish business, if you hadn't been in it from, you know, the early 2000s, when they imposed a quota system on the reef fish, you have to lease fish in order to have fish to catch, you know. So red snapper is a fish that is most commonly caught in the reef fish fishing business, but you know, it's the most expensive for us to have access to. We're having to pay right at $4 a pound on the whole fish to have access to the fish, and it only brings about $6.50, $7 a pound, and that's me offloading the fish and moving it myself to where this grouper, you know, we can get anywhere from $7 to $7.50 a pound, and we're only paying about $1 a pound to have access to it. So it gives us a little bit of a better profit margin on that end, and everyone loves grouper.
Since I started fishing, I've eaten so much fish. I love it. I eat, I've got cooking all different kind of ways. Started cooking fish and grits. When I was running the shrimp boat, I would cook shrimp and grits. But now I cook fish and grits, and that's pretty good. I take the fish, and I just like saute it in some garlic and butter, and then I just put it in grits. Some cheese grits. It's amazing. The best piece of meat I've ever eaten though is a grouper cheek. Grouper cheeks are unbelievable. It's like lump crab meat. It's amazing. There's a little like pork chop chunk of meat right here, and that is the best piece of meat on the whole fish. This little spot right here, it's the cheek muscle, and it's amazing.
I mean, you have to love it, you know, because there's so many highs and lows in this business, but every day I can make a difference, and that's what I get up with the mindset.
Landowners are minding the Louisiana forest for our grandchildren. A place for wildlife, recreation, lumber for homes. It's the right thing to do. Forestry, covering half our state, all of our hearts.
Louisiana oysters, salty, sweet, and delicious. But have you ever thought about what happens to all those oyster shells? Most of them end up in trash cans and landfills. The Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana is changing this with its oyster shell recycling program, and you can help by visiting these participating restaurants. It's a simple and delicious way to restore our coast. The shells will then be used to sustain and rebuild oyster reefs. Remember, once you shuck them, don't just chuck them.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How was it? Is it good?
So we're back in the kitchen with Chef Celeste after gathering those delicious Louisiana ingredients. Today we have our red snapper, our grouper, and our grouper cheeks. And we're gonna serve them over some of our Louisiana stone ground yellow grits.
Yes.
So you're gonna season the fish with what?
This is my spice blend. It's a mixture of Cajun seasoning, cayenne pepper, garlic, salt, a little bit of everything going in there. So now, this is gonna go flesh side down. You hear that?
Freshly caught grouper and snapper straight off the boat in this pot.
Yep. We're gonna put a little bit of oil in here. Now we're gonna add a lot of garlic, because you know I like garlic. Parsley and some green onions. You want to use local Louisiana ingredients because it helps the economy. You get to know your farmers. They get to tell us different recipes and the way that they would use things. And it just helps us all, the whole ecosystem. It just keeps it flowing.
This is what you call smell-o-vision. It's fresh herbs, seasoning, a little butter, oil, and you sear it in a pan and put it over grits.
Right. I'm adding some water in there, and I'm using water instead of chicken broth or anything like that because I added the seafood base in there. But I'm gonna let the cheeks go in here so I can start to break those apart. And this is gonna be the sauce that goes on top of the fish and grits.
Grouper cheeks.
Okay, take a piece.
This is my first.
It is just incredible.
This is my new favorite food.
I know, this is amazing.
See, this is what you love. This is that cayenne and that garlic and the salt and the pepper and then you pour that and then afterwards if you take a big thing of the French bread and you just soak it all in and stuff it in your mouth.
I have a question.
It's delicious.
I have a question. Are you excited?
Oh, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. Ooh, she did.
I can't help it. It's just like being at your grandmother's house and, you know, you just cooking and eating. That is what it tastes like.
Oh, my goodness. Look at this. Cheers, friend. Cheers. To grouper cheeks.
Grouper cheeks.
What you think?
Very nice. Light. Tastes like crab meat.
fresh, local Louisiana seafood. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Field to Feast. Until then, I'm going to keep eating.
Yes.
Field to Feast with Jennifer Finley was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Chances are you'll find Lance Nacio at the Red Stick Farmers Market in Baton Rouge every Thursday and Saturday. Now, the LSU Ag Center and the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry are also putting together a list of places where you can buy fresh food, fresh seafood during this period of social distancing. You'll find a link to that directory on our website, twilatv.org. Louisiana's crawfish season may be cut by as much as 40 days, and that's all because of the COVID-19 pandemic, cutting down consumption, cutting down demand. So while we've got them around, we need you, yes, you watching right now, to go and eat as much as you can. Who knows, maybe you can extend the season if you eat enough. And you're gonna need to know the prices for that, right? Well, in Plaquemine, Crawfish Express has crawfish for $1.99 a pound live, and you can get them boiled for $1 more at $2.99 per pound. In the central part of the state, Louisiana Gulf Seafood in Alexandria has crawfish for $1.95 live and $3.95 a pound boiled. Chenier Shack Restaurant in Monroe has live crawfish for $1.99 a pound, and you can get them boiled for $3.65 a pound. Now be sure to check with the seller to find out how they're handling pickup. Who knows, they might even deliver. But wherever you go, make sure it's Louisiana crawfish. The Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board reminds you, ask before you eat. The COVID-19 pandemic may have hurt this year's crawfish season, but the farmers are still out there working hard to get whatever they can out there in their ponds. While schools, salons, theaters, even churches are closed, the farms across the state are still running wide open. We leave you this week with a short video to thank the farmers and ranchers who are still working, who are still farming to ensure our food and fiber supply is secure. For all of us here at Twila, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.